wasn't what was supposed to be there. It's supposed to be about 6 pounds, buddy. It's be a male. Oh, I can't say that. Can't say that.
There we go, throwing the big thumper, thunder thumper. Decent fish, hammered it, fishing shallow. Got a little bit of rain. Sun's trying to peek out. Decent fish. Slow rolling a big old spinnerbait. The treasure hunt, I think, is what they call this. Shoji. All right, folks, just want to give you a little update. It is tough out here. You know, I came over here with the intentions of throwing a moving bait, you know, a chatterbait, swim jig, spinnerbait, that kind of thing. And I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off all over the lake trying to make that bite happen. I caught one this morning on this big thing, but I've thrown like 3 or 4 different spinnerbaits. You know, something a little bit more translucent. When I'm in a little bit cleaner water, I've thrown a white chartreuse. I've had 1 or 2 bites and just not happening. Same thing with the swim jig. I've thrown a black and blue swim jig. I've thrown this chartreuse shiner swim jig. Cannot get bit on it. Chatterbait, a couple different color chatterbaits, black and blue, white, spot remover. It's not happening. So I don't have a whole lot of time left, and I'm gonna pick up my flipping stick. You know, 15 pound, 17 pound test. I've got a little, what do I have tied on here? I'll just put a 1/4 ounce weight on there, 3/0 gammy hook, and this is a little bait made by Hawgz Custom Baits. I'm not even sure what it's called. I don't know if it's called like a creature hogs or something. It's a little, you know, it's a little creature bait, kind of black, and we're gonna flip this thing around, go shallow, something I haven't done yet today. I just had this feeling all day, you know, after running around not getting bitten. It's kind of the thing that goes on in your head. Do you just keep covering water with a moving bait, like try a bunch of different locations with hopes that you'll run into the fish? Maybe they're moving up as the day goes on. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been running wind, just fishing good areas, and it's not happening for me. So at some point you got to punt. You got to, you know, make a decision and change up your techniques and tactics, and that's what we're doing. So hopefully we can catch a few fish. Let's see what happens.
There he is. Another guy. Not much of a fish, but we'll take him. Little hogs. You got a little guy. It's okay, man, when you count when it's tough. This fish is white. White like me. Another good fish. Fishing that shallow wood, that fish ate it. Get in here. Get in here, Buster. Starting to like this little bait. Starting to like this little Hawgz Custom Bait. Don't know the name of it, but I like it. The fish was right on that little laydown. Back here in shallow water, 60-degree water temps. I'm pulling up. There you go, folks. It's making a little adjustment. You know, I've been throwing moving baits and just cannot get bit. So started slowing down. Throwing this little, it's like a black neon kind of color. Getting some bites now. The fish are shallow. There he is. That beaver pile. go. Good call on the flipping deal. The fish was shallow. Seems like the flipping bite is happening a little bit. Gotta change up sometimes. Quit being stubborn. Old beaver been working hard, man. Look at that. Big old pile. There he is. That's a good fish. That's what we came for right there, guys. Freaking toad. Come here. Alright, there we go. Boom, look at that. Haha, little Hawgz Custom Baits. 3-aught hook. And life is good, man. Beautiful fish, beautiful fish. You know, I've been trying to force a spinnerbait bite and a chatterbait bite. Swim jig bite's just not happening. So I've been flipping this shallow grass and this guy pulled up. Beautiful fish. That's a nice fish. Alright, get on out of here, buddy.
What's up, folks? Hey, give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content, and please subscribe to the channel. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this day and kind of how it happened. So I got over there in the morning and it was raining, you know, perfect conditions for a moving bait, and I was bound and determined to make that happen. I ran around the lake a lot. I hit, you know, likely areas, secondary points, backs of these coves, halfway back in the coves, just the places where the fish are at. And I kept that chatterbait, swim jig, spinnerbait just alternating for multiple hours. And I had several bites, but it just wasn't going on, right? A couple reasons I think it wasn't going on. The conditions were right. There was a little bit of a breeze, you had overcast conditions, that all lined up, the barometer was falling. But this was on a Monday, I believe, and there was a big tournament on that lake on Saturday, and there was a big tournament on that lake on Sunday, and I know that a lot of those fish were caught on moving baits. A lot of guys were fishing the main lake area with, you know, just traditional early spring type baits, your bladed jigs and your spinner baits. So there was a pressure thing that happened. You know, there's a pressure element of that. There's kind of a hangover, like those people were probably pre-fishing on Thursday and Friday, and then you got Saturday and Sunday. Not only the tournament fishermen, but you've got just everybody goes out on the weekends. The weather's getting nice, so you're going to have just your fun fishing guys out there, kayak guys out there on Saturday and Sunday. So they had 2 really heavy days of hardcore pressure, and a lot of those people, you know, were throwing the moving baits, which is traditionally what people do when they get out this time of year. They just cover water and throw moving baits. So the pressure slows those fish down, and it takes a while for those fish to kind of settle down and recover. Even on a Monday or a Tuesday after a Saturday and Sunday, the fish can be in a little bit of a funk. Things kind of start getting back to normal on Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday it all starts over again. That's just kind of the cycle of spring and how the pressure affects the fish. There's also other things that happen. When that water starts getting up there around 60, the fish are moving up. They're starting to get into that spawning mood. They're looking for places to bed, especially the males. The females are coming up, and they're kind of staging. You know, it's that pre-spawn period. They can get a little bit funky regardless of the pressure, where they want something fish really, really slow. It just happens. I don't know exactly why, but you'll see it happen this time of year. They kind of get off the moving baits for a little while, and before they get up on the beds and stuff, and they want something dragged around. You just have to slow down. That's just the way it is. Your mind's saying cover water, but sometimes it's not happening. You got to know when to make that change. So that's what I did on this day. That was the switch that made all the difference in the day. It made the day, you know, it could have been like a non-productive day if I'd have just stuck with it and just kept covering water. But it changed things. It made it into a very productive day. And I talked about the bait already, but the bait that I was throwing is just a little, I don't even know the name of it, actually. I texted the owner of Hawgz Custom Baits, and he doesn't have a name for it. So what What do you think this should be called? This is like a chance to name a bait, I guess. I don't know. Anybody got any ideas on what you should call this bait? Leave it in the comment section. Let me know. Just a small kind of finessey looking bait. I like to throw the Gamakatsu Superline EWG hook on any, like a speed crawl or any of these smaller baits like this. You know, something that doesn't have a really thick body to it. If I'm going to like a beaver style bait, I will jump up to like a 4/0 hook. But the 3/0 Gammy Superline EWG is a really good hook for these a little bit smaller creature style baits, like 17-pound line. I was throwing just a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight, and I was throwing it on a 7'3". This is a Hawgz Custom Light. This is their Magnum Hammer series. It's a 7'3" medium heavy, but the Magnum Hammer is a little bit more stout of a rod. So it's like a heavy, but it's still got a little bit of a tip. Very light rod, very well balanced. The Daiwa Tatula reels, what I was throwing, I think it's a 7'3". Really nice reels. Just kind of started fishing these. Been really happy with them. But I was fishing really shallow, focusing on rock and isolated pieces of wood. Just places where these fish could warm up. There's places where these fish could move up and warm up in that sun. The air temperatures actually got up there pretty good that day, and the water temperature jumped up as well. So 55 to 60 degree water temps is what I was finding just about everywhere. But it was definitely a flipping bite. You know, I went there thinking it was going to be a moving bait bite, but it was definitely a flipping bite.
There it is. Nice fish. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go, man. Just covering a little bit of water, flipping. Another nice fish. Just on that little Hawgz creature bait, 3/0 Gammy Superline. Nice fish, man. Nice fish. Feels good to switch it up and get some feedback. About out of time. I might be able to catch one more before we have to leave. But regardless, it has been fun. Yes. God, that fish is hot. Freaking. That fish was hot. Dude, he ate that thing. He didn't know what hit him. Fish jumped out of the water like a baboon on crack. Jeez. Decent fish. That was a heck of a bite, man. Just hopping along these rocks. Starting to like this little bait. So what I've been doing to get these bites after I quit being stubborn and made that switch, still on this little creature bait, and I'm just flipping it up there. I mean, ideally, I've been catching most of my fish around wood, but 1/4 ounce weight, and I'm catching them in less than 3 feet of water. So I'm just hopping that thing, just kind of popping it, just giving it a little pop. You see my rod tip, just popping it a couple times, and just let it sit. I think that's kind of important in dirty water. I'm making some noise. Got a tungsten weight on there, and the weight's just kind of, as I'm popping it, it's hitting the bottom, and I think it makes a little bit of noise. Got a little bit of water displacement, helps those fish find that bait. And I'm just covering water, just going down the bank, keeping the boat about 10 feet off the bank, just flipping at everything I see, just fishing what's in front of you. It's a fun way to fish, and it's strange, but I just couldn't get them on a moving bait. So I'm not soaking this, I'm still moving it pretty fast, but they just want something a little more subtle than like a chatterbait, spinnerbait, swim jig. Dude, that's another good fish. How did I miss that fish? A good old gangster bite. Well, told you I got a bite.
That was about a 4-pounder. Flipped in there, had a bite, swung, nothing. Flipped back in there, set the hook. I don't know what the deal is with these flying fish today, but that fish got airborne.
That was a nice fish. Sucker was thick.
Another reason you can miss that bite with a moving bait, like a bladed jig, a swim jig, or a spinnerbait, is those fish, when they're up there really tight and they're down deep. So they might be the first 5 feet off of the bank and sitting down in 4 foot of water. When you cast that chatterbait out there, that spinnerbait, you start reeling it in, it's not sinking. You can't really throw it out and let it sink to the bottom because you're fishing in grass. It's going to get all gunked up. So as soon as it hits the water, you got to get it moving, and you're just bringing it over the tops of those fish. If you're fishing out deeper, you can actually let it sink and you could slow roll it down into that grass because it's more sparse. But when you're fishing that shallow, the grass is real clumpy right up by the bank, and I don't think you can really get that moving bait down to where those fish are. You actually have to pitch something in and drag it on the bottom, or you're just going to be going right over the top of those fish. And when they're in that funky mood, they're in a negative mood, they're not going to come up and grab it. That's just the way it is. They're just going to watch it go by. So that's another time when that flipping bait is going to outproduce a moving bait. Just getting it down to the fish is key.
Another one bites the dust. Oh, doo-doo-doo, ding. Another one bites the dust. Oh. Another jumping fish. Jesus Christ, these fish are hot. That fish ate it. All the way down the throat. Look at that. God. I mean, these fish are hot. Look at that, man. I set that hook so hard I rubbed the scales off that fish's belly. Wow. They are so hot right now. Awesome. Shallow, boy. They are definitely shallow. Right. There we go, folks. Man, that fish was in literally 6 inches of water. We got about 2 foot, actually 2 inches of visibility in this little cut. And man, this was definitely the change. You know, this morning we had rain, cloud cover, and it got sunny and slick, and I ran that chatterbait and spinnerbait and swim jig till I just couldn't get bit on it. But making this little switch, changing up presentations, sun came out, fish pulled up tight. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And that was fun. Just a little adjustment, ended up catching some pretty decent fish today. Till next time.